Time being 5:30, I'm going to call the Board of Health meeting to order. All members are present. Would everyone please stand and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. You may be seated. The first item on our agenda are public announcements. Announcements from the Health Division of the Inspectional Services Department. Would our health agent provide us with anything he's got?
Sure, just two small things. Just so people are aware, the office here at Town Hall will be closed this week from tomorrow afternoon through Friday while I am in beautiful downtown Springfield attending the Mass Health Officers Association's annual conference. And just getting ahead, let people know that there will be a trash delay next week. There will be no trash pickup on Tuesday the 11th. So Tuesday routes will be picked up on Wednesday and all subsequent routes will be one day delayed. But Monday will be a regular trash day, so.
Okay.
That is it.
Thank you. Any questions for the Health Department? Or, wow, the Inspectional Services Health Division Department, whatever you are now? Nope. All right, we'll move forward. First item on our agenda is to welcome Lisa, who is our newest board member after last Monday. Very happy to have you here. I know it was kind of a whole thing to get you here, but you're here, and we're happy to have you. At any point today, if we go through something that doesn't make sense and you have questions, don't ask questions. We want you to do that at any point in time. We don't want this experience to be confusing, as I know it can be. So,
Happy to be here, thank you.
Of course. All right, vote to approve the meeting minutes of October 20th and October 27th. Everybody should have a copy of those. Lisa, you don't need to vote on these just because you weren't here for them as a board member. Do I have any action on those?
I can't vote on the 10/21s because I missed that meeting.
I'll make a motion to approve.
Motion to approve the October 20th meeting minutes. Are you approving both?
I'd like to approve both,
All right,
sure.
well,
I've read them both
Yeah,
before.
we'll do a motion to approve both.
I'll second that.
Second from Carol. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? All right, and one abstain, so it's 401.
Thank you for the second one or both of them?
Both of them. It's just one motion for both. Okay. Moving forward is a discussion regarding animal regulations. So this is a discussion that's been ongoing. We picked up a little bit more of it. Carol did a really good job of kind of combining what we had and Hanover into a document. I think the objective was to have a new document today. That wasn't able to happen. I think just the health department didn't have time. It didn't pan out. That being said, we have Katie with us, who I know had a lot of
I had a couple thoughts.
So this might be good. Let's include those, and then we can make that a part of the new document when we do have time to get that together, which I don't see why we couldn't get it together in a couple weeks here.
Yeah.
Obviously, we had an appointment to do. We had all these things coming up, so. Katie, do you want to?
I'm good.
Yeah.
So I'm sure that whatever you guys worked on last time, I'll go back and review the video. I haven't had a chance to do that. I read your minutes though, Carol. Thank you so much for those. I'm sure it's going to be fine though, because they were pretty basic, a lot of the things. The only thing that was not included in the Hanover regulations was a feed management plan or protocol, which I wanted to implement in. So that way there's finite things that our health inspector can go out and inspect. And he can say, okay, the feed is well contained, so that's not what could be attracting any rat population. Because my thought is we've had so many rat complaints over the summer that that's gonna need to be something that has like check boxes that we can make sure we're nipping in the bud. So feed management was one, and then, let me see. And the pest management plan, which was included. So I think a plan which adequately defines and measures that shall be taken by the owner to minimize the presence of rodents. So I think that the feed management plan can go into the pest management plan. I just want there to be like really, structured things that Chris has in place for that specifically. That was my only thought.
It's kind of a nice way to put them together, too.
Yeah.
I think it makes sense.
Yes.
And the permit and application requirements of the one, what is this? So this is the original one. It did have a written management plan for the following: manure management, storage of feed, and pest management. So we can lump that into
Right.
whatever that's
Perfect.
easy enough.
Yeah,
This is the
meal
old one.
management, storage of feed, and pest management, perfect.
Yeah, this is the original.
Okay, I had only been looking at the Hanover ones for the second time around. All right,
I did get a question when we had wrapped up at the last meeting, I just saw it, so I want to just vocalize before I forget, was regarding roosters. And there is a section in here, and it's a Board of Health decision. Roosters and cockerels should only be prohibited in areas where homes are in areas too densely populated. This should be considered by the board on a case-by-case basis, depending upon the density of the municipality and the location of the prohibited site. So somebody had asked that question, this is one of those things where I don't know if we fall into the density where we need to be as concerned about it.
I like the wording of that though, because
yeah.
it's vague enough where it is like on a case-by-case basis.
Right, so, and that's in bold where it's actually a note to the Board of Health. So this whole section is like the keeping of roosters, et cetera, is in accordance with Mass General Law 130, whatever it is prohibited. We can just remove that section and then not have a section about it. And if it becomes an issue or a nuisance, then we deal with the nuisance
I think
as
we put it
would be.
in. I think let's just do it from the get-go and put it in.
Prohibit them?
No,
Oh.
I'm sorry. I thought you meant eliminate that whole section. I think
Eliminate
keep
the section that
in.
says prohibit.
Oh, gotcha.
So that, yeah.
Eliminate
So
the
then
prohibit
it
only.
becomes a case-by-case basis by virtue of the
Yes.
fact, if it's a nuisance, then we deal with it as a nuisance. If
Yes.
it's not a nuisance, then it's not a problem.
Right. I've heard
that
it's very
make
hard
sense?
to rehome a rooster.
That's what I hear as well. So I know that question had come up, and I wanted to just say that's a note in ours from the draft that we received, I think from Mass Association of Health Boards made the original draft, and then Carol, when you kind of mixed it all together, you kept that note, which is good. So I think that's something, we just decided to do that. Let's kill that part and then not address it in the regulation.
Okay.
So I'm sorry if I cut you off.
No, I did what I wanted. I said what I wanted to say.
Okay, great.
Thanks.
Yeah, and, I mean, I don't want to rehash the same conversation, but there was pre-existing conditions terminology versus grandfathering. I'd rather use pre-existing conditions if we do, just because of
Okay.
what the Department of Public Health prefers that we use for verbiage. That was one piece that we were going to mention in there. And then I remember we talked about fee schedule as well, and how maybe that's just a low one-time fee. And I think we can address that once we see what the regulations look like in place.
Did we decide on a certain number of chickens too? Way back in the day we did, and we said
We
it was
did.
6. So we're gonna keep it as 6? No? Not enough?
can
But
open
they
for
come in
conversation.
6.
Yeah, so do you remember, Katie, and then maybe, and I mentioned this last meeting, the original conversation also was around like animal units, like Foxborough had, where a certain number of chickens is equal to a cow, sort of deal.
I don't wanna do that.
Yeah, we don't want to do that, but
No.
I know that kind of evolved from that. And to go back to the core of why we're doing this, it's because we had to have a stable fee as required by Mass General laws, so that, for the keeping of horses. So there is now a stable fee that we got approved at town meeting, I think it was 2 years ago, on the town charter, but there's no process for anybody to get a permit to have a stable and be charged that fee. So
Right.
this is intended to address that. And then the larger concern started to come up around bird flu and things that were
Yeah,
happening in the community.
tracking.
So we're like trying to backpedal and solve a lot of problems by doing this. So personally, I say all this to say, personally, I don't know that I care to limit the number of chickens as much as it is that I know
Where they are.
where they are and who's got them,
Yeah.
and if something were to happen, we can do
Track
some.
them down,
Yeah,
yeah.
exactly. That would be my personal preference on that. So, maybe that's how we look at it. But, I don't know, and I have to look back, I haven't looked at this too diligently yet, if Carol, the ones that you had made, they don't have a specific number in there, do they? No?
Maybe that's okay.
Yeah, so that could be good. I mean, I think this is concerning most with, if I'm gonna apply to have an animal, here's how you do it. If, what are the exceptions gonna be? How would we enforce that? What needs to get inspected? I mean, Chris, how would you do an inspection for something like this? You kind of, it's,
Yeah, just
we're
make,
not,
point
yeah,
out with the property owner or go on the property.
right. And as long as the things that, were met in the application process were met, I mean, we're not planning to go out and do regular inspections, so that's not what this is for. It's just, it's for disease management, so and that's layman's terms, I guess, but, so it's scope is what I get concerned with this, and what I've seen in the past, like, 2 years of us doing it, is we spend all this time trying to make these regulations, and then it's like adding a different layer onto it without removing the thing before it, so it turns into this giant paper mache thing of like, nonsense and, you know, so that's just what I fear. Like, I think we're trying to take the regulations and put them together. I don't want that piece to get lost. That's the point. So thank you, Carol, for putting these together. I think this is great. This draft of stuff. Feed management, I think, is great. A lot of I think, and this should be a discussion more than me, but
No, we just gotta implement it and make a little Mod Podge.
yeah, so then it's I can't speak today. It's us taking the document that we've created, just through conversation. It's this sort of Mod Podge of whatever. And we just send it to town council and say we're gonna do it. Obviously, we're having issues with town council and getting things approved and reviewed.
Yes.
So I am of the mindset as well, and I have no problem saying this publicly, that maybe we just go ahead and approve these. And, you know, there's a severability clause in all of them. If something we do shouldn't be in there, then we can just take it out of force and everything else can be in effect.
But
So-
not tonight, because we need to
No,
like,
no,
put
we
it
need to have a
together,
document,
and
but
then I wanna be able to look at the whole
I,
thing as a.
it seems like this process of us getting things reviewed takes too long. And when it gets done, we get information telling us that the harbor master is allowed to enforce things. And we just shouldn't be doing that. That's actually more of a waste of our time, stalling us from getting things done. We should get this off our
wrong
plate.
town, too.
Exactly, yes, harbor master in Situate. So, yeah, we don't need
Do you
that.
think we should, like, all have our eyes on this completed document
Mm-hmm.
and then do
Yes.
it next meeting or something?
I wouldn't say approve it. I mean, let's look at it and
Yeah.
just make sure we're comfortable with the draft. It's a December thing in my mind.
Yeah.
You know,
Should probably have a public hearing too before you approve anything.
yeah, I agree. And we could do that at the beginning of December. I mean, and actually, maybe why don't we tentatively set that then? That's what we're gonna do, the first meeting in September.
Chris, are you
December.
taking ownership of Mod Podging?
Maybe.
Do you have the time for that? I'm
I'd be
worried
happy
about
to
limited
continue
resources.
working on it, but, you know, Chris has got a lot going on.
Your computer.
I wouldn't say no to that, but if you need me to
I
do
mean,
it, I'll do it.
Carol, I will be your second for,
Okay.
if you want to finalize the thing,
December
and then
1st. Thank you.
I will.
December 1st?
For our next meeting.
Yeah, well, so why don't we do this? Unofficially, we'll subcommittee that.
Yes.
If you guys want to work on that
Yep.
and bring that, just, I guess, have it for the, was it next Thursday?
Mm-hmm.
To go out with the agenda, and then we can all review it and come together. So it'd be a week from this upcoming Thursday to have
Okay,
that done.
Yeah, all right. Gotcha.
Which we already have most of the working copy done, so
Yeah.
that shouldn't be too difficult, but
Okay.
we'll do it that way it gets completed, we'll have some eyes on it, if we're comfortable, we'll post for a public hearing. There's no when it comes to public hearings, there are rules, but in the case of Board of Health, there aren't timeline rules specific to how long we need to post for this, but we'll still stick to at least a 2-week timeline. So knowing that we're gonna do something on December 1st, once we have the draft regulation, we'll post that with a public hearing, and we'll do that on December 1st. If that works for everybody.
Yeah.
Where is the public hearing?
It'll be in this
Here.
building at our regular meeting
No, no, no,
time.
where is it advertised, posted?
So, for most public hearings, they need to go out in the newspaper. We're actually not required to do that with Board of Health regulations, though we try to. I think we've approached Abington News to do it in that way in the past. This would be something where I would encourage people to share it on social media, do those things. I know we probably don't have the budget to do a mailing to people or anything like that, but we also don't know where any of the animal owners live.
Yep.
So that, to apply to this regulation. So I
Unless
think it's
they
gonna
have
have to be a word of mouth.
Be a word of mouth, yeah.
And the reason too is, it's not like this is a specific, like a butter issue or anything like that, necessarily. This is like kind of a wide-reaching regulatory issue where anybody that has a concern can come and bring it up. So we want to do the best we can to get the word out, but we don't have to nor have the means or the budget to do it the most effective way. So organically, let's do the best we can.
Gotcha.
I think that would work well. So we'll plan to do that. We have about a month's notice on our part, which is good. So thank you both. Any other discussion, comment, questions?
You referred to the old one.
Yeah.
I was working from the most recent Abington draft, and there was something in the old one that you highlighted today. And I just want to make sure I have a copy of
It was
that.
the rooster thing.
Was it?
You had that in the new one also.
Oh, okay.
The one, yeah, it was the,
Okay, good.
I forget exactly what page it was on.
Was it the elimination of the rooster rule?
Yeah, so that would be page 4. You had it on section 15B.
Okay.
One personal preference, and also I just think it reads a little better. I don't think we need to name the sections like 1 dash this. I think we can just do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Okay.
Because it might be easier to cite instead of saying it's like 1 dash something, it's
Yeah.
just section 1, et cetera.
Simplify,
Um,
simplify.
The one thing, actually, now that I'm talking out loud, that we should be mindful of is the definitions. We haven't gone back and like added definitions in if we've touched on stuff. So that might be the topic of conversation for the next meeting, is just let's make sure that all the things we have defined are addressed in there. We
Right.
don't have words that aren't addressed
I
or
think
things
I
that don't
looked at
get
them all and
addressed.
they were all fine, but I don't mind the idea that you mentioned about switching the grandfather to pre-existing conditions.
Yeah.
But all the other ones were very,
But
basic.
granted too, the pre-existing conditions section that was in here, I think we had a conversation about it.
We did.
You know,
was like-
that was related to specific approvals that we don't have.
Right.
So we don't, I mean, all that section I think needs to be is like, if you have one, you're good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're not gonna
So
charge people.
structures like barns and stables and fences, I think was included.
Right.
Yep.
Yeah, because I think, what did it say? Specific to, this is the piece, sorry, going back.
no,
Yeah, further conditions that existed prior to the, what is it? The issuance of a barn and stable permit. It talked about having a barn and stable permit at one point. We don't have that, so that stuff can get nixed, but.
okay.
So with the definitions, we just want to make sure that we're not putting definitions in that aren't mentioned later, so we just
I
have to
see,
just do the.
yeah.
Yeah, or the other way around, is we don't mention something, we complete to,
Yeah.
forget to define it. You
Clean up, editing.
exactly. And that's where, you know, if there is something, my recommendation would be let's throw it in and we can talk about it, because we can always wordsmith it or nix it if we need to, at the meeting, instead of trying to scramble, and then we've got a public hearing in like, 2 or 3 weeks there, and we haven't spent enough time getting it ready, so,
Gotcha.
that would be my thing on that. Anything else?
Not for animal rights.
Nope, okay. Oh, agenda's right on top. Then, with that being said, we'll move on. Health agent report.
Yeah, everybody should have a copy of this for inspections, just to go over. So TR Tattoos, Blood, Ink, and Tears, which was one of our newer shops, they sold the business to Tony Ramirez, who worked for them in another shop. So it's still a tattoo shop. It's still almost the same people, but it's new ownership. So I did a pre-opening inspection for him. Your convenience store is, that's at 800 Brockton Ave. I've asked for them to come before the board at the next meeting for a public hearing. The last 4 times they were inspected, they had a large amount of expired product on the shelf. Hundreds of dollars worth of product out on the shelf. So it's a consistent violation every time. So I told the owner at that inspection that they would need to come before the board for a public hearing to explain what SOP they're gonna put in place to prevent that from happening. It's not a priority violation, unfortunately. I don't understand why that's not weighted as a priority, because it's expired product. But they were agreeable to that, and I believe their next meeting is the 17th, so the board wants to have them here at that. So they'll come in, they have a plan in place.
Where are they located?
It's the little plaza across from Walmart, 800.
Oh, yeah.
Brockton Ave. Luna Ray's Beauty is a microblading shop that was on Bedford Street. So that was a pre-opening inspection for them. The others are all routine, Old Town, Powerhouse, Greta, Yaz, Sub Galley, and Trukey's. There were a total of 4 establishments that had priority violations. No specific complaints in the last 2 weeks. Haven't attended any trainings, but as I mentioned earlier, for the rest of this week, I'll be at the MOA annual conference. And then below, that's just a list of, again, businesses that have turned in their renewal applications for their 2026 permits.
Are there a lot still outstanding?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
But they have to, and like I said, I'm just trying to be proactive with them, because after December 1st, the fine is, it's not a fine, but it's the fee is doubled, and that can be a little challenging, so we're trying to get everybody in ahead of time.
It's nice of you.
Thanks, Chris.
Were there any issues with the tobacco retailers that had the licenses suspended for that duration of
Nope.
time?
Nope, they're all back up to normal. Everybody has paid their fines. So we were also, the last one just came in last week, so
Wonderful.
we were all good.
Great. Okay. I will mention, I have scheduled for that public hearing to happen at 6:05 on the 17th. So during our regular meeting, they'll just come in, that'll be one of the first things on the agenda.
Perfect.
The point of that, we're gonna give them a chance to kind of talk through what they're gonna do to resolve those issues. There is kind of a form to follow with that in terms of questions and how that'll work. I cannot seem to find the sheet that I have that kind of outlines that. Once I find it, I'll make sure everyone gets a copy. But the key thing, and I just ask that when we do have that, let's not have back and forth with them until it's that time to have back and forth and ask questions.
Yeah.
Just because we ask questions in the middle of it and it doesn't give them a chance, they keep changing kind of what their story is gonna be. And has nothing to do with the particular applicant, or sorry, the person that we have coming, but that's happened in the past here, and I wanna make sure that we just know, let's let them say their piece and then we'll engage kind of back and forth on how
Okay,
that'll
so you're
work.
referring not to the public hearing about the animal regs,
Yes.
but to the one about your
Yes.
convenience store?
Yes, yeah, it's a quasi judicial public hearing versus a quasi legislative.
How'd you look at the form?
The source doesn't exist anymore, that's the problem. But it was from was it the Boston College or University Institute, Local Public
yeah,
Health
yeah,
Institute? They had a really good document that outlined what things
Yeah.
need to happen in there, and I cannot seem to find it anywhere.
I
If you
believe I
have it,
downloaded all the job aids for that.
yeah, if you have it, we should share that with everybody, because it's still relevant.
Yeah, that's
It
nice.
explains how each one of those processes works.
Oh, good.
There used to be very good training for it, and it no longer exists. So we'll try and find that, and just, that way, that's the form we're gonna follow, the right questions, all of that. But I think it'd be a good job aid for everyone to see. So we'll find that. But that's November 17th, 6:05 PM. We'll start at 6, we'll do announcements, and then jump into that, and then return back to talk about animal rights.
Love it.
Okay, cool. That was my correspondence, even better, so. Correspondence, anybody?
None for me.
None? No? Nothing?
We had a rat sighting today, somebody called
Oh.
in with that, so added it to the map.
Okay, great.
Was it a frequently spotted
Yeah,
site?
there's one other, so now I've started dating them.
What are our
because-
hot spots? Is what like, how many hot spots do we have in town?
I mean, I hesitate to call anything a hotspot, just because that tends to panic people.
Okay, you're right, you're right.
There's a
Backtrack.
higher number of sightings around heavily concentrated food establishments.
Okay,
So like Washington Street, where you've got a number of them,
yeah,
wherever we have construction. Actually, I've been surprised that Central Street hasn't had a bunch of,
Yeah.
because they're doing a lot over there,
Yeah.
but I haven't gotten any calls. This one was it Peregrine? I can't remember which street it was, but there'd been one other recent sighting on there, and the woman said it was just one rat in the backyard. It's wooded. I looked at it on the map, it's wooded behind their house,
okay. Thanks.
but we're keeping track.
All right. Well, we got 5 minutes before the next thing starts, so I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn by
I will
Katie.
second that.
Second from Carol. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? It's unanimous. We're
This
adjourned.
is our first 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 0, 0 in a while.
It is.
Woo, woo.